My fiancé cheated on me with his stalker. My fiancé and I have been together for 6 years. We have 4 sons together, ages 4, 2 and 1, 5-year-old twins. 1.5 years ago my fiancé started playing soccer at a friendly team, which has both males and females. At first I joined my fiancé to the games they played and I became friends with the group also. Then COVID hits and I wasn't allowed to join anymore, so I stayed home every Wednesday, Thursday and Saturday. They still came over to our house as friends and we always had a good time. In December 2020 my fiancé asked me if he could spend New Year's Eve at his friend's house, and since the twins were still newborns I agreed to stay home. He promised me he would come back the next day, but he never did. The next days he didn't show up. I don't have a car and since his friend's house is pretty far away I couldn't go with 4 kids. I tried calling him and even called every hospital but he was nowhere to be found. On day 4 he came home, crying and sobbing. He told me he made a mistake and he had intercourse with one of the females from his soccer team. Of course a big fight broke out and I decided to leave him. He stayed at those friends' house, where she was too. After 2 weeks he wanted to come back but I wanted to confront both of them and we had a long heated talk. They both agreed this should never have happened and that they deeply regret the mistake. I thought about it and I decided to take my fiancé back and work on anything he might wanted to work on. After a while things were great again but out of the blue she started to call me with a private number, but not only me but also my fiancé, sometimes 350 times at one evening, and this happened every evening. He told me to ignore her and so I did. I told her to stop but that didn't stop her. She showed up in our street multiple times, kept calling or sending messages through Facebook or any profile she could get her hands on. She started to make threats against me and my kids saying she would make false statements to Child Protective Services and that only she could have my fiancé and no one else. She even tried jumping from a balcony when he said he didn't want her. I was present when he told her. She started screaming and crying. But my fiancé acted strange. He stayed away most of the times and sometimes turned his phone off. He didn't show up for days and when I asked him where he was he told me he needed space since it was all too much for him. We argued about this a lot, since he made the mistake. Yesterday once of my friends sent me a pic with them together hugging for a picture at a zoo. It was posted on Snapchat by him with a kiss emoticon with it. I didn't even know he has Snapchat. I tried calling him a million times but nothing. At some point later that evening she called me with a private number. I could hear her scream. So tell her, talk to her now, with pure anger and a controlling voice. Then the call ended. Since then I haven't heard anything from him. Today is Father's Day and my kids, especially my oldest, is sad he couldn't give his own crafted gift he made on school to him. I told my son his dad was working late. I'm totally heartbroken.